Jake here for Jake's Random Mix, and I want to introduce you to something that I am quite passionate about, and that is coffee in general, but in particular espresso. And today we're going to take a look at the Stovetop Espresso maker, also known as the Moka Pot. It was actually invented in 1933 by the man whose name is here on this version, that is Bialetti, and his full name of course is Alfonso Bialetti, and he invented a small stovetop espresso maker to help speed up and make more efficient the process of preparing coffee. Of course, the actual, if you wanted to say the translation of the original word espresso, is literally meaning on the spot, and in layman's terms, beef, like fast coffee. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase the different types here that you might find and see. You have your very standard type of stovetop espresso maker, which has a water chamber, a central portion. When you unscrew the top, you'll find a filter in the middle. And here we are. And this removable filter allows you to put coffee here after filling water in the bottom up to the steam release valve. That is actually what that does. It prevents overpressurization. You fill water to just below that valve, never cover it. You put finely ground coffee in your filter, place it down, and then you firmly thread this back together and place it over medium heat on your stovetop. Very simple way of preparing a few shots of espresso. You have different sizes that you can run across. You have, this is a 2 cup, 6 cup, and 12 cup. And now by cup, they are referring to demitasse sizes. That would be something that you would find, say, such as this, which holds just a few ounces of espresso. In most cases, as little as 2 ounces. Some other examples of demitasse would be this small glass, as well as here. Now there's different versions that you'll find. Your basic Moka Pot will come in this standard variety. You also have a stainless steel, which will have smooth sides that are very shiny. You have a few over-the-top designs here, which actually, instead of having a chamber, because when the espresso is prepared, it goes into the chamber up on top. This, instead, you place 2 shot glasses or demitasse cups up on top, and it will blast the espresso down into them. Neat little design. This one doesn't divide it, instead it pours it directly into a larger, say, coffee mug. And it's equivalent in water capacity to a 6 cup, but it's basically marketed as a quick way to get a cup of coffee. This one was intended and actually sold for a camping gear. And then go back to the Bialetti. This model I have is the Bricka, which actually has a special pressurized valve here on top, which all this is weighted, and it forces the steam pressure to build, the water pressure to build up a little further before actually pushing on through the coffee. And I will take apart the one I'm going to use. In this case, I'm going to use this 6 cup Roma. This is my most heavily used one, and I will showcase the process. But we're going to go over the parts once again. You have your water chamber with a pressure release valve, and again, you just fill it with water up until you see the little brass release valve there. Fill it up to just below the bottom. Coffee in the filter. And then here's a better look at the top chamber. Now there is also a filter here that prevents the coffee and water from being just pushed straight up. And when it finally comes up, there is this outlet valve here. This one doesn't actually have the valve. This is just an outlet here, and the espresso will pour out and collect in the upper chamber. And always keep the lid down when you're doing this, because it has a tendency to spurt. all of that said, a little history and overview of the functionality of a Moka Pot, we're going to go on to actually preparing some. Okay, we have water, like I said, down below the valve. I have mine, let's get closer here, about a ½ inch below the valve. And I have some Lavazza here that I actually got for a very good deal. I normally prefer to buy the whole bean version and grind it myself on my Giro Compresso, but my local Kroger had this Lavazza Espresso, which is pre-ground finely for espresso machines and Moka Pots. And what you want to do when you are filling your filter, you want to fill it leveled, if not slightly rounded, but do not compress it. This is not an espresso machine. You do not tamp it down with a tamper. And this is how I fill it. I just lightly tap it to even it and go around. Get it full to the rim, and then a little overage. Place it down in. Take your top and spin it on. Leave it there, nicely and firmly. Seal up the coffee, and turn it to a medium heat. And then wait about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, now as you can hear, brewing slows down. You can also gently lift the lid and check and see if it's still spurting or not. And in this case, it's slowed down completely. You can go ahead and turn your heat off, and it's ready to immediately pour. And here you have fresh espresso ready for you to drink, straight from a Stovetop Espresso maker, also known as a Moka Pot. Now, these are available everywhere. You can search Amazon, and including a couple of coffee sites that I personally have used, espressozone.com and Whole Latte Love. I have gotten a couple from there, including my Belletti Bricca. I do recommend both of those sites, as well as, of course, Amazon has lots of choices. And it's an easy, simple, old-fashioned way to enjoy espresso at home. But this is Jake with Jake's Random Mix. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.